This edition of WeatherScope is sponsored by the legendary Firebird Trans Am from Pontiac.
This is WeatherScope.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to WeatherScope. I'm Bruce Edwards. Well, a powerful storm is battering the eastern United States from the deep south to the mid-Atlantic. The Appalachians are also catching some snow, while the coast has the high winds and heavy rains. We have some live reports from the eye of the storm coming your way within the next couple of minutes. Now, for that report and the latest information, let's check back in with Cheryl Lemke. She's in the Forecast Center. Cheryl?
Thanks, Bruce, and good morning. We are still keeping close eyes on a very powerful storm system that is slowly churning its way across the east. And one of the reasons that it's moving so slowly is the fact that the upper level winds are not pushing it along very quickly. And hence, because it is a slow mover, we've had reports of some tremendous rains and very heavy snowfall. Still some soaking rains coming down from Georgia up through the mid-Atlantic states. At the same time, though, the snow continues to mount across the Appalachians, and some spots, especially in eastern Tennessee, have seen at least a foot of snow. Especially hard hit the Cumberland Plateau and the Great Smoky Mountains. We've had some reports of snow drifts up to 2 feet deep, and that is making some roads totally impassable over eastern Tennessee. Traveling is not being recommended. Parts of Highway 441, also Interstate 40 and Interstate 75 over eastern Tennessee have been shut down due to the heavy snow. Meanwhile, though, the heavy soaking rains have been spreading their way northward, and right now a nasty morning across the mid-Atlantic states with some stiff winds and some very heavy rains that continue to pelt the coastal regions of Virginia. Well, enduring the brunt of the big storm this morning is our very own Mike Seidel, who's in Virginia Beach. Good morning, Mike. I see some angry seas behind you. What's the latest from Virginia Beach?
And Cheryl, this morning we're getting blown around, wind gusts in excess of 45, approaching 50 miles an hour. And this is going to be the situation for the next day or so. This is not a fast-moving storm like last week's nor'easter, and obviously this high wind from the northeast and east will continue to erode away these beautiful resort beaches, not only here, but anywhere along the mid-Atlantic, up towards Ocean City and Rehoboth Beach, up in Maryland and Delaware. Take a look at the Weather Channel mass cam this morning. It is windy, it is raining, and the surf is dangerous. We've got 6-7 foot breakers out there. The Virginia Beach fishing pier sticking out into this frothy Atlantic. And then as we kind of pan southeast, you can see the visibility is not very good, and there is nobody out today, unlike yesterday where we had some joggers and some folks walking their dogs. The surf is really going to be the problem. High tide is coming in at 1:45. It'll be up at 1:45 this afternoon here on the ocean front of Virginia Beach. And we do expect the water at that point up to the boardwalk. And then the next high tide could be the more serious one early tomorrow morning at about 2:30 tomorrow morning, and then even tomorrow afternoon's high tide. So we've got about 3 high tide cycles to get through before we're out of the woods, and that means a lot of flooding, a lot of beach erosion, a lot of rainfall too. Those of you in the interior are again going to have to deal with the rain. These high winds will probably bring down some trees, and that could cause some power outages. So we've got a whole host of problems to worry about, and one of the other serious problems is the concern about me being blown down towards Cape Hatteras. Cheryl, we'll keep you posted here from Virginia Beach.
Thanks, Mike. We appreciate the update, and we'll be checking back with you a little bit later on this morning.
Okay.
Well, as Mike was showing us, definitely some rough conditions across Virginia, and that pretty much exemplifies how the weather is going to be across much of the southeast. Locally heavy rain and stiff winds will definitely be a big story for today. As our low that's currently poised near Augusta, Georgia, it will continue to slowly work its way up along the coast. Just a big gale center producing those stiff winds and very heavy rainfall. At least for those of you in Florida, looking much better than how it looked yesterday as the rains have eased up there. But we've had some soakers for Macon and for Atlanta, likewise Montgomery, Alabama, lots of heavy rain as well, and that rain is definitely taking a toll. We have numerous flood warnings out this morning from Clayton, Fulton, DeKalb, and Cobb counties around the Atlanta metro area, and we also have flood warnings too that extend over towards northeastern Georgia around Rabun and Habersham counties. So a lot of rain coming down in a short period of time. The ground is super saturated, and these additional rains coming down for today will simply exacerbate existing flooding problems. Now, we've also had some colder air too curling in behind our storm system, and we've had some snow in some rather unusual places. Just west of Atlanta, around Paulding County earlier this morning near the town of Dallas, we've had reports of 1 to 2 inches of wet snowfall. still reports of some snow near Anniston, Alabama. And then we have more snow too for Chattanooga and for Nashville. But again, the heaviest snows continue across the Cumberland Plateau and across the Great Smoky Mountains. The band of snow too lifting across Kentucky and West Virginia. You can see the little band of somewhat heavier snows that continue to pelt northern sections of Kentucky, especially north of Interstate 64 at this time. Elsewhere, the big fetch of moisture feeding in from off the Atlantic and the soaker right now around the Norfolk area. Snows, though, piling up across the Appalachians, and on top of the heavy snows that have already fallen, maybe another foot of snow. Along with that, another aspect of the storm system, though, the strong winds. And we have this really long onshore easterly fetch that will continue throughout the day today. And gale and storm warnings have been posted up and down the eastern seaboard. And with all that moisture and all that water being pushed in from off the Atlantic, we're going to have major problems with beach erosion today, especially during times of high tide. And coastal flood watches and warnings, too, have been posted over parts of the east coast. Choppy waters and heavy surf, too, will be a problem. And some of